welcome tonight to the pro wrestling reality. In that original era, Adam the Edge Copeland was nothing more at any point than mainly a good hand in the company. I mean, of course, he was often opening up big pay-per-view events, working with guys like Lance Storm, the Hardy Boys, X-Pac. The list goes on and on. So I gotta give Copeland credit. He has hung in there. Right in the heat of that attitude era of that major company, he has taken his bumps, stood in that ring with some major billboard names, but I and many other insider fans just never seen him as main event material. His work rate was passable. At best, yes, he could get heat. Really, in the grand scheme of things, numbers-wise, I mean, where really was he on the card in between the years of 99 to 2003, when guys like Austin, Rock, and Angle, even Cena, were hitting their peaks and making it into that top position? Copeland just really was always just not at that level compared to some of the bigger WWE stars. He also often at times was more seen as a comedy side worker. He would join a gag tag team with Hulk Hogan and do comedy backstage with the likes of Goldust or Booker T. It just always gave the insider fans a certain idea of where Copeland essentially fits in the eyes of the guys in the back at that time. His work rate in that era was just passable. At sometimes, some say barely passable. When he would work with guys like X-Pac or Angle, they really had to help carry Copeland in those matches. You got to remember, X-Pac also performed as WWE's the 1, 2, 3 kid. He has been taking bumps long before Copeland had even ever debuted in the company. But tonight, besides talking about his Hall of Fame wrestling career, we are going to talk about Copeland's shocking and lustful history with women, both within the industry and the women outside of it. Before being married to now industry superwoman Beth Phoenix, Copeland had already had 2 prior marriages. One which seemed to have its many issues. The now ex-wife of Copeland had found some of Lita's steamy text messages on Copeland's phone. She also claimed Copeland was a pervert. Copeland's wife has had her say on him through various media on and off message boards during the mid-2000s. One time even going so far as to call him a steroid addict. She said she had seen those steroid rages. She calls Copeland sleazy, said he would rant and get violent. Speaks also about how marrying a WWE superstar put her life through hell. She also makes a disturbing claim that Copeland made shocking bedroom requests, which included wife swapping, allegedly. I could imagine that would have been a tough relationship to navigate, especially while with a major entertainment superstar who has had a wandering eye like Copeland. She also went on to say when it comes to Copeland's behavior, what goes around comes around. After the divorce, Copeland was on the road, sometimes even traveling with wrestling legend Matt Hardy. Although the real trouble started when Lita eventually started traveling with Copeland, and when Copeland started getting hot for Lita. The two bonded over mutual interests and life events, such as the broken neck, and at this time, both Copeland and Lita were in relationships and seemingly seeking those thrills from another individual than the current bedside partner. It was Hardy who first seen the lustful text exchanges between Copeland and Lita. Matt, at the time, was paying for Lita's phone bill, and once Hardy got suspicious, he was hot, and he demanded to look through Lita's phone. When Hardy forcefully confronted Lita about what was going on between the two, she claimed Copeland and her were just friends. But Hardy's trust had been broken, and he was hot at Copeland and Lita. Hardy tore into a rage, started packing Lita's bags and telling her to get the ass out. Lita then started to cry, still maintaining that nothing was going on between her and Copeland. Matt had gone on then to state that the two went on that night to have passionate, angry sex, in which Lita had denied. When Hardy finally confronted Copeland on his behavior with Lita, Copeland reportedly started crying over the phone, telling Hardy over and over that this was never supposed to happen, that it was never meant to go like this between him and Lita, which I truly think makes Copeland come across as cowardly, as, he was wanting the thrills from another man's woman while still with his own wife at the time. Copeland truly was unable to step up and admit to his actions in an honorable manner to his lifelong friend. Copeland would also go on to explain his road thrills to his then wife, which resulted in his second divorce. All that time on the road, I can imagine, one-on-one intimacy with a partner could get old. So, I can understand how this sort of relationship may have happened between Hardy and Copeland. But the truly sickening aspect of all of this was that Copeland had already had the prior marriage. And it was the wife of Copeland who had also come across Lita's steamy text messages on Copeland's phone. After the messy situation between Hardy, Copeland, and Lita, Copeland's edge character would become depraved, a deviant, more sexualized. He became the rated R superstar. WWE finally pushed Copeland into being seen as the main event talent. Copeland's The Edge character essentially became a heel. In this era, many of the company's own top drawing talent were already out of the company, so in a sense, WWE gave Copeland the ball and let him run with it. The peak of this new character for Copeland, I felt, was his feud with Matt, which included a shocking live in-ring celebration, where essentially the company gave fans an intimate preview of Copeland and Lita's bedroom behavior, engaging in various sexual positions, which reportedly had parents in the audience with young children very angry at the time. Copeland was now in the hot seat and the one on the knees for Lita. While for many years prior, it had been Matt Hardy in that position, even going as far as saying Lita was the woman he planned on marrying. Copeland's ex-wife at the time even went so far during all of this to call Lita well, the specific term I don't think I'm able to say, but any the less, in a seething message board interview, she said this and also said that the two deserved each other, and also hinted that Copeland, along with Lita, was also a steroid user. Currently, Copeland is married to fellow WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, with the couple being married since 2016, and since have then had a very fulfilling relationship. But as we have learned, she was not the first woman to have Copeland running. The company seems to want to portray the couple as this, silly, out of touch sort of Homer and Marge of the company. But despite this, the two still hint on social media that they do still have the very active sex life, and are also both quite active. And the two do still perform in ring for that major company. With that in mind, that means Copeland is essentially back on his old stomping grounds, on the road, having these younger women now who are working for the company coming up to him, telling him how big of the influence he has been. Will Copeland going forward be able to resist these temptations and thrills? As Copeland's ex-wife has put it, what goes around comes around. I also just want to take a moment to thank the fans recently, for the great feedback on the videos. I wanted to put out the challenge that if you have a industry story that you'd like me to either look into or possibly cover on the show, drop it down in the comments. Thank you for watching.